Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at this mystery box from Amazon. Well, I mean it is from Amazon, but it's not a mystery. I know exactly what this is. This is the Nerf DinoSquad Armorstrike. This blaster came out in 2022 and is part of the Nerf DinoSquad line. And this, by the way, is not how your Armorstrike usually comes when you buy it from the store. This is just how Amazon sells it. It seems like every blaster I've bought from Amazon, the Nerf blasters I bought from Amazon, come in this kind of packaging. Yeah, not much to say. So I guess we can get started. So there's not a lot of information on this box, other than the blaster being recommended for ages 8+. It has plastic-free packaging. Flipping it to the other side, we have just some more information, warnings, copyright, and our content list. This box includes blaster and 16 darts. Not much else to say about the blaster, so let's just take it out of the box. Don't have to open it with scissors this time, just pull the blaster out. Normally I'm quiet during these parts, but today it's very, very simple, so I'm just gonna take the blaster out. Alright, here we have the Armorstrike out of the box. And before I forget, let's talk about its actual box. I took pictures of the blaster while I was at the store, so I'm going to put pictures up on screen now. The front of the box is the same basic information about the blaster. Shows the darts, age range. Doesn't claim plastic-free packaging though, so that's different on the Amazon box. On the back, it talks about its dart storage. It's 8 dart storage. Talks about its pump grip. And its 8 dart drum. So whatever information we found on here, just a couple of extra ones like the dart storage and the fact that it's a revolver and it's pump action. Anyway, let's just go over what comes with the blaster. There is no instructions come with it, so no paperwork. Instead, on the flaps of the box here, the opening, we actually have information on how to use the blaster. Of course, it's a very simple pump action revolver. Here we have our Nerf DinoSquad Elite darts. We have 16 of these. And to load the blaster, seems to be pretty simple. Just like the revolvers, you just place the darts in the cylinder and rotate it. I will say already, there's not a lot of room to load darts. I mean, maybe we can load 2 like so, if we rotate it over twice. Yeah, so not a lot of opening for loading, so there's that. And then we have the dart storage back here. You just slide your darts in like so. And then we have the other side. Not sure if you're supposed to put the dart head in first or put the foam. I'm just gonna put the foam in first, like so. Okay. It doesn't seem like they're gonna come out. Seems to be a pretty nice fit. All right, let's see how this thing fares. Does it have slam fire? No, doesn't seem to have slam fire. It does have slam fire? That's really weird. It wasn't slam firing before, but now it is. No, it's not slam firing. It's really, really confusing. It seems like if you hold it down all the way, it doesn't slam fire. So you have to hold it down like in the middle, then it will slam fire. That's really strange. Which seems to be the common theme with slam fire blasters lately that I've been reviewing. They don't seem to always function correctly. Like the Fortnite DG, that thing wasn't functioning right. And this one either is supposed to have slam fire or not. Kind of like the Fortnite HR. That thing was not supposed to have slam fire, but it does. See, if I hold down the trigger all the way, it doesn't slam fire. But if I hold it down like halfway, it does. So I don't know what that's all about. Could be just mine, or could be all of them. Anyway, we've talked about the blaster enough. Let's take it out on the range and see how it fares. All right, here we are at the range. We have our target set up. Before we start, I want to mention something I discovered. The stock has rail attachments. Reversed rail attachments. It's kind of weird. I guess you could use this one to put a scope on, and you could just like kind of stare down the scope, and then this one extra support for your third arm or something. It's a little weird. I guess the scope can be used because there's no iron sights or no sights on this blaster at all. Which, by the way, that is your sight picture. So this one, I think, out of all the DinoSquad blasters I reviewed so far, probably has the most kind of like sights than the others. It kind of has the what the heck is going on? Is the world ending? Why are there 3 military helicopters flying over my neighborhood? So after the apocalypse has just flown over us, back to talking about the stock, about the blaster. Yeah, where was I? The sights, yeah, the sights. That is your sight picture, kind of. I was trying to say this one has probably the closest thing to sights on one of these DinoSquad blasters that we've seen so far. As usual, starting out with Nerf Elite. See if we can hit anything. Going down. They're just going all over the place. Oh, hit one. Hit another. That one just curved around. All right, on to the next dart. Before I load it up with Adventure Force, this is how Adventure Force fits in the blaster. Seems to hold pretty well. So let's just load the blaster up real quick. All right, we have Adventure Force here. See if these fare any better. Almost. We got 2 more. See if we can hit anything. My gosh. Oh, got something. Definitely one of those blasters where I'm gonna have to practice shooting if you're gonna hit anything. But Adventure Force was just kind of going down, so I'm not sure if that's the blaster or the darts. Anyway, on to the last dart. I'm not gonna bother setting that one target up. We're just gonna go straight into it. Here we have Dart Zone. This one seems to have problems holding Dart Zone. Anyway, on to Dart Zone. See if we can hit anything. Oh, got something. We hit something. They weren't all going down. They were going pretty straight, actually. I don't know. Anyway, on to the range test. All right, here we are, down on range. As usual, for context, the chicken marks 25 feet. The swan marks 35 feet. And the frog marks 40 feet. And the far back wall marks 50 feet from where I'm standing. We're gonna start off with Nerf Elite. Hit the wall. A little bit beyond 25, maybe about 30. About 27. I think I hit the 50-foot mark. That pig was picked up by the wind. About 40. 28. Wall. Chicken, hit the wall, hit the chicken. Not good results so far. Let's move on to the next dart. All right, on to Adventure Force. See how this thing fares. About 30. Okay, that one almost 40, about 40. 35, hit the swan. About 35 as well, 36 almost. Okay, about 40. Less than 40, but so that was about 30. 40, I think. And about 35. On to dart zone. 35, maybe 38, about 40, 35, hit the wall, went about 40 though, 35, 36, 40, about 35, oh yeah, we're out. Alright, let's go check out those ranges. Alright, here we have the range data, and very, very interesting results. Believe it or not, Nerf was consistently going the shortest, while Dart Zone and Adventure Force were going about the same distance, pretty far here. But I will say one thing, the blaster may have done well in distance, but I saw those darts weren't really going that straight, which is probably why the accuracy test was as bad as it was. Nerf, I think, went about 35 max, except for one went all the way to the 50-foot mark, which is, I think this one, went almost to the 50-foot mark. While Dart Zone and Adventure Force were going about kind of consistently to the 40-foot mark for some of those, 35. So about say 35, 40 for Dart Zone and Adventure Force, and Nerf was just about 35. I'll put the ranges up on screen now with all the little corrections. And let's move on to the speed test. Alright, here we are at the speed test. And we're going to start off with Nerf Elite. We're going to try a different angle today. 72. 68. Duplicate 68. 72. 70. 66. 67. And 71. Alright, on to Adventure Force. 65, 55, 65, 70, 65, 66. I think that didn't register. And 65. Is that 7? Let me do one more shot, because that other one did not register. And 66. On to Dart Zone. 69, 70, 69, duplicate 69, duplicate 69, 68, 71, 61, and that's it. Alright, on to the results. Alright, on to the results. For Nerf, we have an average of 69.25. We have a minimum of 66 and a maximum of 72. This, by the way, is in feet per second. For Adventure Force, we have an average of 64.63, a minimum of 55, and a maximum of 70. And for Dart Zone, we have an average of 68.25, a minimum of 61, and a maximum of 71. Pretty interesting results. The darts seem to be going about the same for all around. Anyway, with that all the way, let's move on to my final thoughts. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Nerf DinoSquad Armorstrike? But before we do that, as usual, I need to worry about it and how much I spent. This blaster was purchased on Amazon on sale for $31.04 USD, and it regularly prices on Amazon for $33.99 USD. Other places like Target and Walmart, the price is closer to the sale price that this blaster was purchased at, around the $31, $32 mark. That is just something to keep in mind if you are planning to buy this in stores. Anyway, let's just talk about the blaster real quick. The cylinder doesn't rotate like other Nerf revolvers. Let me explain. So most Nerf revolvers have this cam and pin system. In fact, it looks like this. And basically when you prime the blaster, the pin moves forward and indexes the cylinder through the cam groove. And usually that's inside, but not on the Armorstrike. But right down there, if you see the little white, that little white thing down there, little white tooth thing, That actually indexes the cylinder like so. So that's just something that I thought was kind of interesting about the Armorstrike, is the cylinder has the cam grooves in it and not it being inside somewhere in the middle like most other Nerf revolvers. That is just something that I thought was kind of interesting. All right, so let's just go straight into talking about the blaster. I know a couple videos ago I said we're going to try to do a point system, like a system where we go over different points about the blaster. But I'm going to try something different today and just talk about the blaster, my thoughts directly. So where to start? I think we'll talk about the biggest, not really issue, but just kind of confusing thing, the slam fire feature on this blaster. So without a doubt, this blaster is supposed to have slam fire. I don't know how to say it, but there is quite a bit of evidence this blaster is supposed to have slam fire, other than it just firing a dart when you hold down the trigger and pull the slide all the way forward. One of the signs that this blaster is supposed to have slam fire is when you pull down the trigger, the priming handle moves just ever so slightly. A lot of blasters where the slide is connected directly to the release catch, the priming slide, priming handle, pump grip, whatever method of priming you have on blaster will slightly move back. I think this is just because how they designed it, where I think there's a secondary catch here. So there is that. Of course, not every slam fire blaster has this. For instance, the Raptor Slash, another DinoSquad blaster I reviewed, because its slide is reciprocating and not actually attached to the plunger system directly or the trigger system directly, it won't move. It's also a different system entirely. You don't have to push the slide forward. You just have to pull back and it fires. But that is one of the evidence. Of course, the obvious is the dart flies out of the barrel when you hold down the trigger in its sweet spot. It's a little weird. As I demonstrated before, holding down the trigger all the way and priming the slide forward, the slide just slides forward like it's not meant to have slam fire. However, if I can find it, that just primes it. If you hold it about here, you can hear it. That little pop, that's the plunger moving. And we've also demonstrated it on camera before we went out on the range. Off camera testing, I use a slam fire as well. So this blaster has slam fire despite what the boxes say. I'm not too sure if the retail packaging on the bottom talks about it. I didn't check. So with slam fire out of the way, let's talk about other questionable features. When I mean questionable, I mean, what is this? Not only do you have tactical rails on your stock, you have tactical rails that are going backwards. As we saw in the, let's just quickly go get a scope, our handy Super Soaker scope. The rail is pointing backwards. I don't get it. I really don't understand why they had this. The other issue I have with the rail is putting your cheek here kind of hurts, which is one of many ergonomic issues I have with this blaster. The grip is kind of uncomfortable. It kind of hurts my hand quite a bit. It's just not a comfortable grip. It's very angled and has kind of these sharp edges. And of course my wrist runs into the stock here with the tactical rail. It's just not a good time, and it's just honestly not a comfortable blaster to shoot. The prime is okay, the prime's fine. It's the trigger. Trigger is very, very heavy. Of course, that might just be my blaster. A lot of these issues might just be my blaster. And your Armorstrike might not have these issues, but this is just what I found with mine. Something that is definitely an example of it might just be my Armorstrike, is only one of these dart storage doesn't hold darts well, and it's this one right here. For some reason, that one doesn't hold darts well. Is there anything positive I have to say about the blaster? Well, I will say one thing. It is consistent when it comes to firing darts. Not only were the speeds consistent with pretty much all 3 darts, but the ranges with some of the aftermarket darts, like Adventure Force and Dart Zone ones, seem to be pretty good as well. Some accuracy issues, but I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt that you just have to practice with this thing. Aesthetically, the blaster it's all right. It's interesting to say none the least. But it does fit with the DinoSquad aesthetic quite well. It has these little bone and horn parts on it, the dinosaur mouth. I think this is supposed to be based on the Ankylosaurus. I think that's what this is supposed to be based off of, as all the DinoSquad blasters are supposed to be based on a dinosaur. We of course have that scaling skin texture all over the blaster. Colors wise, it's not my favorite. I don't know. On camera, the green color that the blaster has looks a little muted or a little muddy, but in real life it looks better. It looks better in real life, I will say that. I think they were trying to go for what the dart looks like, with the green color here, with the turquoise, bluish green here, and then the lime green kind of represents like the dart, I guess. It's supposed to look like this. Kind of matches. But it's not my favorite color scheme. It's also not my favorite looking DinoSquad blaster. I don't really, like, it looks okay, but you know. So I would recommend the Armorstrike. If you're someone who's collecting the DinoSquad blasters, I would recommend buying this blaster on sale. Wait for it to be on a discount price, because I don't think it's worth its original retail price. But if you're someone who's just trying to buy a blaster to have fun with, to play around with, I'd say find another. This blaster definitely has issues with ergonomics and its slam fire mechanism. Now I do understand that my issues with the slam fire mechanism and the really stiff trigger might not be on all Armorstrikes. Your personal Armorstrike might not have this problem, but the ergonomics issues with the questionable tactical rail placement and this very uncomfortable grip are gonna be, I bet are gonna be on most Armorstrikes. But I don't know, that's just my opinion on the Armorstrike. So what are your thoughts on this blaster? Comment those down below. Comment what else you want to see on the channel. Be sure to check out my review on the Nerf DinoSquad Tricerablast, another blaster in the DinoSquad line. Be sure to check out my other reviews. Both those linked at the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.